Get in here.
Bye, Jenny. Bye, Jenny. Are we on time? We on time? Nope, good.
Hell to the no, we're not on time.
Why would we start on time?
No, we don't believe in on time.
I'm kind of just.
I suppose I should.
Oh, are you gonna follow? You gonna watch the show? You got tagged. Blaine Williams. Good morning, my man. Good morning. Good to see you on here.
My man.
My man. How's the coffee this morning?
It's there.
Oh, there it is. Found it. Luke Weaver, thank you for watching the show today, Luke. Welcome to the show, Luke.
Hi. Hello.
See, this is why I like this place right here. This is why I know. Okay, so today, welcome to Luke and Rory show. That's Luke. I'm Rory. Welcome to the show. We're in downtown Puyallup at the Anthem Coffee, and normally we're all the way in the back, right back there. I don't want to hit that lady. And today,
Just nail somebody and say goodbye.
Today we're back up front in our old studio.
The old haunt.
The old haunt.
Yeah.
Because there's somebody back there chilling, and we didn't really want to push her.
Doing nothing with her life. If she was working, I'd have been fine with it, but I gave her dirty looks.
That will show
She
her.
was just sitting there, taking up a whole pew like
That
she
will
owned the
show
place.
her.
Yeah. Why am I getting no, like who's watching and all that?
Can you swipe? I guess you're not cool. That's an Apple phone for you. Oh, too soon?
I'll punch someone right in the
Right in
neck.
Steve Jobs?
Yeah.
Oh, good morning, Angela. Good to see you on here. So we're probably gonna have quite a few new people watching today, which I'm super excited about because they get to see the ridiculousness that is Luke and Rory.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
It is, and I just want to start off by saying,
We apologize.
hell yeah, that too. To all you 49er fans out there,
Good morning, Dom. Dom in the house. It's been a while since we've had Dom.
yes, good to see you, Dom.
Daddy must not be in the office.
If you are a Seahawks fan, hit that heart button right now. Hit that heart button. And if you're a 49ers fan, hit that angry button. That was beautiful.
Yeah,
Dude.
that was well.
Oh my gosh.
Although I was talking to Nicole Cunningham last night, our appraiser friend, and she's a huge Hawks fan too. And I'm like, and we were both like, can we just have one game where we don't have to find the defibrillator? Like, I'm over in the corner like, clear. And that's been like
Good morning,
all
Ed.
but one game this year.
It really has.
And I know that's Pete Carroll's like thing is just keep it tight and then let
Yeah.
Russ take over. But man,
Good morning, Kimberly. Good morning. Good to see you on here.
I just want one where I don't have to like mainline
One
whiskey in my
blowout?
vein. Yeah.
Yeah, one blowout would be nice.
Yeah, so
And not against us, like the Ravens did.
Man.
Yeah, and I'm
Morning, Mary.
Good morning, Mary. Mary, we won't talk football long, I promise. I
Yeah,
promise.
we'll get off of it.
There's Dom again. She's watching again. She's watching
Dom,
twice.
guess who's back?
Is this going to do it again? Like it
She's
did?
got us on our second screen.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
And we're good. We're good.
Yeah, crazy. Yuck sports.
Yuck sports. Yeah. Sports are terrible. Terrible for people. They shouldn't do them.
Well, I tell you, I had a meeting Monday night, and it was nice. It was in the cloud, so I was at home with the game on off to the side. But when the meeting got over, it was about the middle of the fourth quarter, and I've been keeping track of the game. And I'm like, can we win this game? Can we win this? Can we win this? And then we go to freaking overtime.
We're going to overtime.
They get the ball. The Hawks get the ball. I'm thinking, great. The drive is going good. Everything's looking good. That pass that Russell Wilson throws that gets intercepted. I know every fan says this, but I'm going to say it again. I could see that interception happening. Just the way that the defenders were around that player, that one player. I'm like, how is that not going to get? It just did.
They were talking about it on the radio this morning, and I guess like what they were saying that Russ probably thought is 9 times out of 10 that defender would come up because it looks like a screen, and so it just happened to be a great play.
Yeah.
That being said, it was about 8 inches. 8 inches higher, that's a touchdown. I mean, just a little short on.
I know.
Yeah.
So close.
Anyway.
Francisco, good to see you. Gordon, good to see you.
Mary says I'm going on a delivery. I didn't have one before, but I do now.
You know what? That's her excuse every
I
time
had
we
to
start talking
deliver
sports.
the coffee cup to the sink. Bye. Yeah.
But they did it. They did it in overtime. Heather, good morning, Heather.
Good morning.
Dane,
Dane Train.
man, Dane. They did it in overtime, and You know, the thing was, it was all set up for this kicker who they just took off the scrap heap, the 49ers. Brett, good morning. Brett's my uncle.
Dude, I said
down in Oregon.
Good morning, Uncle.
Yeah, I mean, it was like supposed to be storybook. It was supposed to be storybook ending for the 49ers. This guy they took off the scrap heap. He's a kicker. He made some really good kicks in pregame and everything. And I mean, not only did he miss, but he shanked it. I mean, just phew, it went down.
The old wounded duck.
It went down to Gilroy, California. That's where the kick went.
Gilroy.
Yeah.
Right. People in Gilroy right now are like, what? Did he say? We haven't heard our name on a live broadcast in years. We don't even have our own newspaper. Yeah, dude, it was a fun game. The only thing that drove me bananas is like, at the end of the game, I'm yelling, right?
Surprised.
Weird. And I'm like, dude, do not leave this up to the kicker.
Melissa!
Do not leave this up to field. Just keep driving. And then they just like clocked it. And I'm like, and I have to wonder, there's a side of me that has to wonder if Pete does it and did it intentionally to give him the opportunity, Meyer the opportunity to get the confidence. And and I'm like, it's a big risk you're taking, man, if you're doing it for one guy to try to pull him through, because there was plenty of time for you to get closer.
Yep.
But and center the ball a little bit. But whatever, he nailed it, kind of. If it was a yard longer, he might have missed. But But yeah.
Well, I'm just glad it didn't end in a tie. I mean, even if it was a loss, even if they had lost by 3,
I'd rather a loss than a tie. To be honest.
A tie just. Yeah. I don't like the fact that if you've tied, your record's like 4-6-1.
Yeah.
It's like you weren't good enough to do one of the other two.
It does nothing for you at the end of the year. It's just there. Just keep playing.
So, Mary, if you're still there, we're done. We're done talking about sports.
Jillian,
good morning.
Oh, Jillian.
Yep, Jillian's on here.
Taking on your challenge of doing 50 days of...
Yep, and I think Dane is also doing it.
So is Magruder, dude.
Magruder's doing it. I'm so proud of Magruder. Jumping on Facebook Live. That guy, Wendy.
Well,
good
Magruder, let's be honest. Magruder is a guy you want to be on Facebook Live.
Oh, yeah.
You have no idea what might come out.
I've seen the things that he writes on here.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, man, this guy needs his own Facebook Live.
And he's a writer for SNL, man. So. Yeah, good morning, everyone. So, Hawks win. That was great. I won fantasy football. That was fantastic.
Yay!
Yeah, you're welcome. And not only did I win fantasy football, but I kicked the ever-loving crap out of Mike Crab. So, I mean, I didn't even know if Mike looked at his roster before the week. He told me he did, though. So
somebody text Mike Crab, or somebody tag Mike Crab right now.
Yeah, get Rudy on here.
Yeah, because I can't wait to hear this little dialogue.
Hey, real quick, what we have in a minute. Speaking of Crab, and he's over there working with our boy Egg Show. Wondering. Give a quick shout out. Hopefully Ryan gets on here, and if he gets on here, I'll say this again. Ryan lost his grandfather a couple weeks ago, and for those of you who know the Aker family at all, his grandfather was a freaking legend. Like, that dude he would have been 100 years old today. He passed away a couple weeks ago. And let me tell you what, up until probably the day before he passed away, he was out pulling crab pots.
Erica, good morning. Good to see you.
Nice. Up until probably the day before he passed away, he was out pulling crab pots out of the canal.
Man.
I mean, the stories about this guy's
this guy
longevity and strength and whatever, like at 97 a couple years ago, like hauling an outboard engine out upstairs, like to go work on, like just a guy that was a great example to Ryan and all of Ryan's siblings and stuff of just how to suck the marrow out of life and not take a day laying down. And so the Aker family lost their patriarch, a true gentleman, a true wonderful guy, and all our best to the Aker family. You will be missed, Grandpa. Papa's gone, but on to better places with Grams. We love you, Akers, and all the best, all our prayers. So, yeah.
Yeah, you shared a story with me a few months ago. Good morning, Tricia. You shared a story with me a couple months ago about Grandpa Aker. Yeah. And it sounded like he was a neat guy.
Yeah, he was a wild man, dude. He wasn't gonna let anybody tell him to sit down or to not move. He was too, you're old, sit down. Posh. Yeah. So I don't have time for your crap. Anyway, so
I got a feeling.
Rest well, man. We'll see you on the other side.
I got a feeling that you would be like that, and to an extent, I think I would be like that. When you get older and someone says, "Oh, you know what? Go ahead and take it easy. Just sit down." I'm not old. I mean, I just had my birthday on Monday, and I'm looking at 44, and I'm like, when I was in high school, 44 was you're knocking on death's door.
You know what's funny about that? I was actually thinking about because of your birthday, and then I was like, okay, you're 44, and I'm a lot younger than that, and 5 years.
Don't worry, your time's coming there, young man.
But I was thinking of 30. Okay, so I'm 39, and you're 44, and I was thinking though, like, we're just a couple of goofball knuckleheads, and like sometimes I think about like I'm raising children.
Oh yeah.
And I can imagine when I was like 10 years old and I was looking at my dad, like I looked at my dad like he was my mom and dad, like they were like Morla the Ancient One, you know, like a Skeksis or something, like
Steven!
There he is, like a Skeksis from the Dark Crystal, like this old ancient wise being, whatever. And then now that I'm their age and I'm like, oh crap, they didn't know anything. I'm like, there's no way.
I think that's an important thing to learn. It's not that we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's that nobody knows what they're doing at this age.
I'm like, did I just have it wrong back then, or am I an immature 39-year-old? Like, I don't know. I mean,
yes.
Yeah. The correct answer is yes. So
I've noticed as I've gotten older, love my dad, but I realized that my dad did not know as much as I thought he did when I was younger.
Don't watch this.
You know, because it's one of those things, like you said, you look at your dad, you look at your mom, and you're like, they got their crap together for the most part. And then as you get older, you realize, well, I don't necessarily have all my crap together. And then you go, I'm gonna go visit my dad. You go visit dad, you're like, he really doesn't have his crap together too. I mean, he thinks he does.
I just always look at my parents as like dapper and like respectable, right? Like they were whatever. And then like I'll have the most random, like dumbest childish thought go through my brain, and I'm like, 39-year-old shouldn't be thinking about that. I'm like, but that's hilarious. And I'm like, so then I'll go down a rabbit hole. I'm like, did my dad think about this kind of crap? Like, I mean, he must have.
You know, one thing that blows my mind is I think about the things that happened in our family's history.
Yeah.
And what was my dad's age? And I think back to that and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm older than my dad was when that happened. I'm older than my mom was when that happened. Now, I'm going to get a little sentimental for a second.
I knew where this was coming.
Yep. And I'll share this with you guys. I shared it with my family on Monday, and I can use you guys' prayers out there. It got a little bit of emotional baggage going into 44 because 44 was the age I lost my mom.
Not him. His mom was 44. Yeah.
My mom was 44, yeah. My mom was 44. She's on the verge of 45, and that blows my mind. Because I think to myself, and I shared this with my kids Monday night, is I'm not ready to go. And I can't imagine my mom, she's just starting to become a grandma.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine feeling 44, because I now have a reference point. I can't imagine going, all right, you got a year left.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and God's going to take us when God takes us. I get that. I understand that. But if I have any control whatsoever, I ain't ready to go. And, you know, so that it's on my mind a little bit for the next year.
Yeah. It's, I thought about that on Monday as well, because I know that she was 44 when she passed away.
Wanaka. Good to see you, brother.
Yamaka.
It's George Wanaka.
Yeah, I thought about that on Monday.
That was great for a second.
For you. Oh, yeah. I thought about that on Monday for you. That's a tough thing to think about when you start outliving how old your parents were.
Yeah.
I think my dad has now outlived my grandma, his mom. And granted, that's in the mid to late 60s, so It's a different ballgame, but it is something to think about. We're going to get all weird. Now I can leave. Deuces. I think about like my buddy Scott. Like, Scott died at 35, and he'll never be older than that.
Right.
You know, I mean, he's forever young in my brain. Like, no matter how old and decrepit I get, I'll only see Scott as like 30. Honestly, like 32. I'll only see him as a young man. And Paul Terry, who we all went to school with growing up, same thing. He passed away at 23.
My buddy Travis, who passed away a couple months ago. It's like I'll never see him as an old man.
Yeah, and it's a weird thing. It's the same thing is for your mom. Like at some point, you're gonna look at yourself in the mirror, and you're gonna look like Rick Van Winkle, but your mom is still gonna be young.
Yep, my mom will always be young. Yep.
It's a
Ryan. Good morning, Ryan. Good to see you on here, man.
Come on down.
Ryan, we gotta get coffee. We gotta get coffee, man.
Yeah, man.
We got a debrief from our transaction.
From what I heard, it might not be brief. Just kidding. Just kidding.
All right, well, enough of this. Happy birthday to everybody and all the good stuff. And we'll miss Mr. Grandpa Akers there.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's kind of segue. Let's segue, because this is a horrible segue.
I don't even know what our show's about.
Let's say, Christian. Good morning, Christian. Christian, how you doing, man?
Yeah, we're getting likes.
You know what? I heard that Christian, I heard you hurt yourself. Man. How you doing?
He's falling.
So, I'm sure if you live in the Puyallup area, you heard the news.
This is my favorite news of the week.
Yesterday. And I can't wait until Luke explains the thinking going on here, because it cracked me up. So, I'll give you guys the background here. Heard on the news yesterday that a teacher at Emerald Ridge High School, how about the beast of a player, number 9? Oh, Clowney.
Guy was on another planet.
Oh my gosh.
Unblockable.
I'm doing this. Oh, Clowney. So, it's yesterday. I believe it was yesterday, that there was a teacher at Emerald Ridge High School. Now, it wasn't on campus, back as Jack.
Oh, it wasn't?
No, it wasn't on campus. It happened to be, from what I had heard, the teacher was talking to a caseworker on the phone, off campus, and the teacher made a comment of,
I'm going to shoot these motherfuckers.
I'm going to shoot them up. I'm going to shoot them. I'm going to hurt them. And so, word got back to the district. District called up the Pierce County Sheriff. Pierce County Sheriff went to her house and said, "Hey, this is the report we got. Are you sure you want to go with that statement?" And not only does she say, "I ain't backing down."
It's my favorite part, man. Like, I love, like, Ed Troyer was talking about this yesterday. For those of you who live in our area, Ed Troyer is the sheriff's spokesman. Great guy.
And I'm not laughing at the seriousness of what she said.
Oh, I am.
I'm just laughing at how ridiculous this entire thing is.
I'm going to laugh at the seriousness of what she said, because here's the thing. You find me a teacher that doesn't think these thoughts at some point in their life.
Oh, gosh.
In their career, they'll call you a liar. Look, I taught, and I was in classrooms for a couple years at a high school level. There are some rough days, man, with some of these kids where you're just like, if I could put my hands on you, I'll tell you what. But I love it, like Troyer said that. He's like, we gave her the opportunity to walk her statements back. He's like, are you sure? And she's like, oh, I'll kill every last one of these motherfuckers. Like, take me now. Like, she was like, she had no, it's like, give me your gun.
I mean, that is the craziest part of this story.
So the two sides of it is, one is like I know darn well the thoughts that go through your mind when you're trying to work with some of these kids, especially God only knows what she's working with, you know, who she's working with. But the fact that she let it come out of her mouth when talking, so she's talking to a caseworker, that leads me to believe she's working with more of at-risk, second chance kids that are probably more of an issue. You know, need a little bit more TLC.
The sad part is today there was a shooting Cali at school. Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna
talk about that, Kimberly.
We're gonna bleed into that, but I just, but to let it slip to the caseworker. So when I heard caseworker, I was like, yep, she's working with troubled youth, which can be difficult, very, very difficult. But then on top of it, she's like, even after she cooled down for a few hours today, she was still like, nope, don't let me go visit the range, like, and get my sights on. But you know what? Like, I'll tell you this. Might have been the wrong thing to do. There we go.
We're in focus again.
Might have been the wrong thing to do, but I get it, man. You know, and here's the thing. And parents and people out there, please be rational. Even you know, people are like, that's wrong, and you shouldn't have guns, whatever.
Just spank the kids.
Listen, Listen, there are plenty of parents, especially if your kids are kids that need to be having a social worker or a caseworker, that these parents are checked out. Okay, when I was at Walker, I can remember having a kid whose mom showed up strung out on meth and walked right into the building.
Oh my gosh.
This poor kid, man. Like, the look of just absolute horror on his face. And being a teacher, especially in some of those environments, is tough. Is really tough. And so I feel for her in a way. And I'm sure this is going to get straightened out. And, you know, and she's not going to do any serious jail time or anything like that. I do feel bad for her. I'm sure she just got to the end of her rope. And some of these parents are checked out. And some of them are not necessarily checked out, but they're just like, oh, the school system will raise them. And the school system will teach them values and morals and do my job for me. And at some point, these poor teachers are like, dude, like, granted, I'm totally here to help your kid become a better human, but if you're not on board with that, what do I do? You know, and then you start to see the cyclical nature of these kids. Like, they're going to grow up and be like their parents, you know, and you're trying your best. Like, I feel for her. Granted, she took it a step too far,
right?
But I feel for her frustration and how twisted up she must have been to get to that point where she wouldn't even back down when Ed Troyer was like, "Are you sure?" And she was like, "Hell yeah, I'm sure."
And it's tough. It's tough. You bring up a great point because she's 58 years old, so she's got to be close to retirement. She got to
be this for 30 years.
And now the thing is, I have some insiders.
Yeah.
I have 3 insiders, and I asked these 3 insiders about this particular teacher. I'm not going on the record, but they said, "Yeah, not surprised."
We all have a couple of those. I have a couple of those from high school. I had a couple of those from high school.
Again, I'm only laughing because it's.
But here's the
thing. It's an uncomfortable laugh, I guess is the best way to put it.
Here's the thing though, like, I look back, I had a specific teacher, I had like...
Andrea, is it Andrea? Andrea.
Yeah.
Andrea.
I had a couple of specific teachers in high school that I made their life miserable. And I'm here to tell you, like, I was not, I mean, cast aside the dapper gentleman you see in front of you today, I was a pain in the ass in high school, and I know it. And I know it.
In high school?
Oh, man. And there was a couple teachers. In fact, I had one of those teachers that I ran into a few years ago, and I went up to her and I apologized for who I was. And she said she appreciated the apology, but she was thankful for me because if it wasn't for me, she would have never learned how to truly handle kids and be a teacher. And I'm like, well, you're welcome then. Preparing you for a successful future. But I had one that literally grabbed my desk. Small female, and here I'm a big guy, right? And started shaking it and hit me over the head with like a file or whatever. And she was like, I kid you not, in the middle of class, Olaf Anderson, if he was watching this, he would validate this because he was dying. She's like, God is my witness. You will not graduate this goddamn high school, you son of a bitch. And like, get out of my classroom. And Olaf was just like, ah! Like, right. And so like,
was this at North Mason?
Yeah.
Who was the teacher?
I'll tell you later. She actually, and I don't say this with like pride, but she had a nervous breakdown. She had came back, and apparently I pushed her to the point again. And as I was walking out, I made a comment about maybe you came back too soon.
I'll grab your receipt.
Oh yeah. Anyway, she made a comment about, or I made a comment about maybe you came back too soon, which sent her into tears. And anyways, I never saw her again, so she knows who she is. If she ever sees this, I apologize. So pushed too far. But my point is that like I pushed the teacher to the point of like freaking out. I get it. Yeah. This poor lady just got herself. I mean, 30 years plus in the business, just get yourself to a point. You know.
I think all of us troublemaker boys have that teacher. And you know what? I don't know where Mr. Kennefic is at.
Oh,
Mr. Kennefic, I apologize to you from the bottom of my heart for being such a pain in the ass in 7th and 8th grade.
Brett says, though I can't see you, Luke, I agree with everything you just said and could add some opinion, not necessarily arable. No, it's always arable, man. You can drop one F-bomb on this show per episode. Yeah, it's just, some of these kids, you know, it sucks.
Well, hello there. Welcome back from Texas.
Oh. Hello. Yeah. Wow.
Deep in the heart of Texas.
Yeah. So anyway, you know, it's unfortunate it got to that, but I get it. So I get it.
Oh, North Mason marching. Mr. Flateau rocked as a principal, though, huh? I like Mr. Flateau.
Morning, Tony. Hey, a little bit late, but happy Veterans Day. Love watching what Lotta's doing in swimming, man. Tell her to keep working, keep pushing. We love following it. She's killing it. It's awesome. And happy Veterans Day. Appreciate you, my friend. Yeah, Mr. Flateau was good, man. He was. I don't even know you had Mr. Flateau. Was it Dr. Mars?
No, Mr. Flateau was, I believe, the assistant.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had him. Yeah, you know what?
You know what I tell you what? I like Dan Crosby, the assistant.
I will say this: Dr. Mars was neutral. Whereas I had Mr. Holmgren when I first got there.
Oh yeah.
Loved Mr. Holmgren.
Travis's dad.
Mr. Holmgren was so awesome.
Yeah.
I love Mr. Holmgren. Mr. Flateau was pretty cool too. Dr.
Thanks,
Mars.
Tony.
Dr. Mars was. He was there. Which, the funny thing was, he was my principal in middle school too. So I'm like, dude, stop following me.
Yeah.
Who's the coach who just passed away?
I love Dan Crosby. Bill Geyer.
Bill Geyer.
And his memorial is next Saturday at North Mason High School. I encourage everyone who has ties and remembers Coach Geyer to get you out there. So he deserves it. Yeah, so along with the shooting thing, good morning, dude, John, my man John.
Way to show up, John.
So I coach basketball with John in Bonnie Lake. So he coaches
fighting
fourth
animal testing
and sixth grade. I don't even know. Some people watching going on down here.
That's one of the fun things about sitting here.
John's my dude up in Bonnie Lake. He coaches basketball with me up there. Great guy.
Right on.
Him and his wife, Brittany, dude. Huge heart for the kids up there. Great guy. Great guy.
So let's get an update on what's going on in California. Molly, good morning, Molly.
So, dude,
newest
walked into
resident
school
of
today.
Sumner, Molly.
Yeah.
Jeff Brown, good morning, Jeff.
Dude walked into school today.
Student?
Yeah, go Panthers. Yeah, student. Shot 4 kids, and then 4 students, and then killed himself. All 4 of the kids are alive. At this point, 3 of them, I want to say it's 2 dudes and a girl are in, 2 dudes and a girl, 2 girls and a guy are in critical, and one other kid is in stable condition. So prayers out for those kids. So
Sarah, good morning, Sarah.
We can pull through. I know this is going to open up the gun debate because that's what it does. And in light of the information that came out yesterday, every person who has an argument against teachers with guns is going to sound off. Not all teachers should have guns. That's never been my point. I'm just saying that some teachers who maybe are retired military or police officers or whatever, who know how to handle it and are trained, maybe should have access to protect the students more than please stop. Just a thought. And I know I'm probably in the minority, to be quite honest. Or at least, I know a lot of my friends are against it. That's fine. We can disagree. It's fine. But I don't know, man. This has been going on. The school shootings have been going on since the late '90s, right? Since '99, Klebold, Harris.
Actually, you know what? It's even before that. A lot of people don't take into account like the Moses Lake shooter.
Right.
I think that was like 94, 95.
Okay, the one that put it on the map.
Right.
Was Klebold and Harris.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
At Columbine. And then you had Kipling Kinkle and some of these other ones that have come along and kind of been an example to these kids that are hurting. Aside from certain teachers being allowed to possibly carry, aside from that debate and the whole thing with the gun debate, I would challenge you people. I say you people. I would challenge. Sorry, I'm not really trying to be derogatory. I'm really not. I would challenge people who are anti-gun to consider that this country went on a long time. When my parents were kids, they had friends that would come to school with a rifle in the back window because they were going hunting after school or whatever the case is. It was not an issue because families were more stable, more consistent. There were more consistent role models across the board in these kids' lives.
And share your opinions, you guys.
Yeah, please
Anything.
do.
Share whatever. You can agree, you can disagree. Please share.
I really point at the whole idea of we're looking at an absentee father, absentee parent of some sort, broken family crisis here, and mental health crisis. Not one of these kids that we've seen in the last 20 years has been stable.
Right.
And 90% of them have been missing a father or a parent of some sort. The closest to a normal, stable family was Dylan Klebold in Columbine. And in reality, if you hear his mom speak now, she goes around and does TED Talks and has written a book. Very interesting to hear her talk about her son's actions. Even she would tell you, as a parent, she was living in a fog, but she wasn't paying attention to the signs of what her son was going through or taking it seriously. And we need to, as parents, take our kids' physical health seriously, obviously, but their mental health just as seriously. I don't think that people You know, I could share this. I think on here, breath of fresh air for me this last weekend. I have a child on one of my basketball teams that, for weeks, into our season has been struggling. Like, just seemed like she was having trouble focusing or didn't want to be there really. And you put her into the game, and she was just kind of spaced, it seemed. And all of a sudden, her parents came up to me on Saturday before the game and said, "Hey, we just want to let you know we just got diagnosis on her yesterday. She is ADD, and today they're trying a little bit of medication to try to zone her in. Very first time." They were very open and honest, and they were like, "Coach, we actually are like thankful for basketball and practice because we had no idea. Because at home she's pretty whatever, and at school we don't see her. We were watching her in practice, and all of a sudden it dawned on us that like something's going on here."
Right.
And they were just so open and honest, and I honestly told them, I said, how open and honest you're being with me is like a breath of fresh air. Like that you're willing to say, "Hey, we were concerned, so we found this out. This is what's going on. We want you to know about it so you can be privy." And it's like so many parents want to hide that, you know? And like, I guarantee you that no matter what is going on with your child, they have something amazing to offer. You just have to figure out what the hell it is. And don't treat them like, you know, or whatever they have going on is something you got to hide or you don't want to confront. You know, Rory's been very open about Ryan and his, you know, he's on the autism spectrum. You know, he's very high functioning. It's not like it, you know, doesn't affect him in a daily. But if Rory and Christy are completely honest with themselves about the struggles that Ryan may or may not have, he's never going to reach his full potential. And so,
Steve, good morning, Steve. Good to see you, man.
Good morning, Steve. We need to be honest with ourselves about our kids, and I think that honesty about our kids and about our problem with broken families. And I'm here to tell you, I'm divorced. I have 2 kids from my first marriage, but we co-parent like us, you know, as much as we can, and we're constant. We're both there, and in lives, and it may not be perfect, but there is never a reason for you to not be involved in your kid's life, and never a reason for you to not be honest about whatever your kid's going through to ensure that that doesn't bleed over into society and that they have the best shot of growing up to be a productive and a happy person. And so for the whole gun argument, like, well, but if we take away guns, dude, like how many people were killed in England last year by that guy who just knifed up a bunch of people going through it? Like, people are still going to have the same issues. That's like treating the symptom. Why are we just going to treat the symptom? Let's find the root of this and make our country stronger and better. I've said many times that I think, and some of y'all might think, hey, let's put on his tinfoil hat now. Look at historically, all great societies have fallen. All great societies have fallen. And I don't think that the United States of America is going to be any exception. You know, and I've had some people like, well, the UK didn't fall, and you know, and France didn't fall. Yes, they did. They're no longer a monarchy, you know, and they're no longer, you know, a patriarchy. They had to fall to be rebuilt into what they are. Just because it's the same name doesn't mean it's the same operating system. And I truly wonder if we're not at the beginning of some end times for the United States as we know it. And that might be 100 years.
Matthew, good morning.
It might be
Christy,
100 years.
good morning. Good to see you.
But the U.S. is constant of like, we're going to treat the symptom. We're just going to try to make everybody feel good instead of actually trying to find the root of these problems, why kids are acting out this way. It's going to come back and bite us in the ass.
I think so too, man. And I'm concerned. I know this seems really simple, but it is. And it's just love people more. Love your neighbor more. Love society more. And it doesn't mean that you have to just, you know, slobber all over somebody.
Well, I was going to say, the other day I almost put on Facebook, and you'll love this. I was like, if I hear one more person just tell me that love is always the answer, or just love people more is the answer, I'm going to lose my crap. Because where it is important, absolutely, and you should try to love everybody and be accepting of everybody. Other things that are important is teaching kids how to take criticism and give criticism and work hard and take pride and let people know when they're upset.
That's love.
I mean, maybe you
right
want to
there,
put it
man.
all into the same thing, but I do find sometimes we're so like on these tiptoes of like we're walking around on eggshells about how we address people.
And I guess what I'm trying to say is that don't be an ass when it's not
right. Okay.
when it's not warranted out in public.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we always hear that saying, you don't know what somebody's going through on that day. You know, and I can tell you guys today, I'm not going through anything. Right now, I'm having a good day. But You know, last month I was going through a ton of crap, and you know,
Thank God we got past that.
if you poke the wrong spot on the bear,
Morning, Nathan.
it could have been traumatic. But no, I agree with that. There needs to be tough love. I've had to do some stuff in the past 2 weeks with my kids where it hurts as a parent, but I know down the road it's going to make them better. And that's the thing is when it comes to Jesse, when it comes to parenting,
Yelm's finest.
I understand now why my dad did some of the things that he did. And I remember at the time thinking, this guy is the biggest ass in the world. He doesn't understand. He doesn't know what I'm going through. Da 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 da. Blah blah blah. Turns out the guy knows a lot and taught me quite a few lessons. And I'm passing some of those lessons on to my kids because I want my kids. I visited Jessie on Sunday up in Bellingham. Proud father moment. I'm talking. She's giving us the tour of her place.
She ordered a pumpkin spice latte.
Yeah, no.
Without being prodded.
Her house. She shares a house with 2 other people, but her house is in order. She shows us her bedroom, and the kid's got her stuff together. She's got her emergency fund. She's got her. This is the whatever emergency fund. She's working. She's my goodness.
She's an adult. She's adulting.
We did something good with Jessie, and yes, we had our struggles over the past 22 years. We've had our struggles. We've had our great times, but we've had our struggles. And to see her on Sunday and to drive away from Bellingham and go, damn it, we did something right.
She's gonna be okay.
And John, breaking news. In about 2 to 3 weeks, Mr. John is finally moving out. And I don't mean finally like in a derogatory way. I mean like
John's like, hey man.
I mean like
oh, we had a good time.
He was smart. He learned good lessons from us, and he also learned the bad things that we did, and he learned those lessons
What
too. What not to do. He's gonna move out, and he's probably a year, 18 months away from buying a house. And I'm just like, dude.
Tell you what, if
You're
he doesn't use
amazing.
us, I'm gonna kick his ass.
Oh, I've already told him. Don't use anybody else. The point is that we have to have tough love with our kids. Sometimes we have to have tough love with each other. There's times when we have some uncomfortable conversations, but it's for the greater good. It's not because we're trying to be, well, maybe sometimes.
Rory, why'd you only get a king bed for a room? This is an uncomfortable conversation.
But I think that's where it starts. That's what we can do right now. We don't need to pass a law. We don't need to get legislation. We don't need to sign an initiative to love people more and to show some tough love. We can do that right now, and it doesn't cost anything.
Yeah,
But I am concerned. I am concerned about our country.
You know, and it's these kids. It's parents that aren't involved. Parents that are letting kids raise their kids,
Letting their iPhone raise their kids.
You know,
Guilty.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. I have those moments. I had that moment last night. I had to all of a sudden be like, dude, throw this thing in the garbage. There's just so much, I think, that goes into the overall mental health of our country right now. Not only with kids and how they're affected by broken families, missing parents in their lives, but also as adults, people don't know how to take criticism anymore. People don't know how to apply lessons without getting all butthurt.
Lita, good to see you.
And everyone's afraid to hurt everyone's feelings. Like,
no offense.
Yevgeny.
Yevgeny?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yevgeny. Thanks for joining us, Yevgeny.
People are so afraid to hurt one another's feelings that it's creating, like, I know no one likes the term snowflake, so we'll go with softies. It's creating a soft culture. We are really creating a soft culture. And whether you want to believe me or not, that will bite us in the long run.
Yep.
A bit. And look,
Joshua, good to see you, man.
Yeah, man. Bulldogs. As important as it is to love on people, it is just as important to give helpful criticism, to let somebody know when they're being an asshat, to not take crap from anybody, to teach people how to work hard, to teach people to take pride, to teach people how to, you know, not just love on somebody, but improve people around them.
Right.
And we're so worried about, oh, I don't want to hurt their feelings, or I don't want to say this. F that, man. Like, if you got a problem with me, how am I going to fix the problem or tell you to F off yourself if I don't know what's going on. Like,
See,
why should we all be like, all like...
I would rather you come to me and say, dude, I'm going to tell you this in love because I care about you.
Yeah.
This way you can take care of. And you've done that probably half a dozen times, and I haven't liked it. But I learned from it.
You know what? I'm leaving. I've gotten that a couple times. Not that he hasn't said it like that, but I'm like, we're right in the middle of lunch. He's, you know what? I gotta go. I'm like, dude, finish your potatoes. I doesn't like you. I'm not in screen. Everyone keeps saying.
I carb.
Everyone keeps saying I'm not in screen.
You're usually never in screen.
Can you see me now?
You're like the ghost on the side. All right, so
I see me.
All right, so we got to talk about something else now because I think we've said our piece on that.
I had something real quick on that. I thought.
Well, I'll just say that I'm concerned about our country going into 2020. Please, 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 please learn from 2016. Learn to verify stories before you spread them on social media. Please, 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 because 2020 is going to get ugly. And is our current president part of the problem? Yes.
I'm quitting.
Yes, he is part of the problem.
If you see
but
me,
so
guys,
is the other side.
If you see me disappear in the next year, starting my own country.
All right, so you find your Zen happy moment there.
The United States of Weaver.
I'm going to move on because we've lost a ton of people.
Okay,
we
go
got to
ahead.
get people back because people don't want to talk about this, or they do, but they're just being silent. So I had somebody, and I don't know if they're still on here because they might be the person I'm calling out.
One eye only. That's weird because see, I'm watching it, Molly, and I'm all there.
Hello.
You're just gonna have to listen to me.
There are people out there that subscribe to the fact of putting up their Christmas tree and listening to Christmas music before Thanksgiving. No, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not
I'm reformed. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Listen, I'm trying to justify everything. Not anymore.
I've done it
I
once.
stopped drinking yesterday.
I've done it once. I put up, I've never put up a Christmas tree before Thanksgiving. That to me, that's no. I know there's people out there. You know who you are. You know who you are. You're posting on Facebook that you've already done it.
I don't know, Molly. I'm trying, sweetie.
Yeah.
You just have to listen to these.
Can anybody else? I mean, is anybody else only seeing half of Luke?
Funny because I'm watching on my phone and I'm all there, man.
Yeah, you're all there. You're all there. Maybe Auburn High School has her Wi-Fi at half power or something. But this is a bigger question because there are people that will actually do this, and I saw somebody post it yesterday, and I've done it before. Is listen to Christmas music before Thanksgiving.
My daughter, Maddie. Maddie's been on the Christmas music thing for like a week now, or like 3 or 4 days.
Explain yourselves, because I did it one time, and I found myself the last 10 days before Christmas being sick to death of Christmas music.
Maddie, my daughter Maddie, my 13-year-old, she started in on the Christmas music 4 days ago. She's so geeked out. I actually came downstairs this morning. Downstairs. I live on the main floor. I came down the hall this morning, and not that it matters, but I can see both. Thanks, Josh. You're looking out. And she was watching White Christmas, Bing Crosby's White Christmas, this morning before school. While she was eating breakfast, she's like...
You're doing something good. If
right,
you're watching
I know.
Bing Crosby. Yes.
So, our old Tacoma.
Oh, okay.
And Mercedes. Okay, got it. So, I'll tell you this, man. That girl loves her Christmas, and it brings her great joy. It's like that movie Prancer. She listens to Christmas music year-round. Prancer's an underrated Christmas movie, by the way. Sam Elliott. Just saying. Maddie's always kind of subscribed. She loves Christmas music. She doesn't tire out on it. And I say more power to her.
William Prince.
There he is, Big Willie style, Prince William.
Good on her, because
she's in the Christmas spirit, man. And I don't tire out on it. Like, it's not my first thing to grab to turn the music on. I'm not like, oh my God, 106.9 has Christmas music on. Like, get on the radio. Maddie is that person, but it doesn't bother me. I think part of it too is Rachel got me into this. Rachel reserves certain Christmas music for only certain times. Example, her favorite Christmas music of all time, Nat King Cole, the Christmas song.
Oh yeah.
If it's on the radio, she's like, turn it up! She won't. She will only listen to it as we get closer to Christmas, with the fire going in the front room, the Christmas lights on, the smell of the pine, like, and it's just, you know,
I
the
get
chestnuts
it.
are roasting, like, it has to be
yeah.
that, and so because of Rach, I've been forced into subscribing kind of to this idea that, like, sometimes some Christian music I just don't listen to all the time, you know, like Bublé's album, certain times, right? Old Bing Crosby, old King Cole, Nat King Cole, certain times.
You know, the thing with Bublé's album is that, for me, that is one of those albums that takes me back to a
Rick
certain
Smith.
place.
Rick Smith, what's up, buddy?
You know how you have certain songs or certain albums that take you back? For me, Bublé's album takes me back to December 2014. It just,
I was about to say, takes you way back to 2014.
I automatically know exactly what I'm doing, where I was, all that kind of stuff, because I used to play the death out of that too. Now, for me, I'm the guy that is sad when Christmas music stops playing. So, like, 106.9 does it through
Midnight on Christmas, and then it's off.
And then it's off.
It actually, I'm like, no, I want a couple more days.
Right, so we will listen to Christmas music until New Year's. We'll do that.
That's a good thing with Alexa, right? You can just
Absolutely.
I will say it's funny how people get so worked up about it. Like driving around, Lainey kind of gets worked up. She's like, "It's not even Thanksgiving yet," and that's just how Lainey is. Lainey's very methodical. Like point A has to be taken care of before line B, and so.
Yes.
Although she doesn't really care about that, I find it's funny the people who complain about like people have Christmas lights up already. Like I've seen it on Facebook. They're like, it's not. And I'm like,
I'll complain.
it's, you know, in my mind I'm like, this is what you have to complain about? Like, get over it.
I mean, honestly, it's not that big of a complaint. It's just.
I saw some people on like Facebook just griping about it.
Oh gosh. Okay, that's.
Like, you know, put your head down. If it makes them happy to pull into your driveway and have Christmas lights on.
And this goes back to our last conversation.
Yeah.
If it makes them happy, let's keep those people happy.
How about you do you, boo? Let them do them. God bless it, man. Like, why? The things that people worry about, like, oh my God, my neighbors have Christmas lights up and now I have to look at them. No, you don't. Close the blinds, man. Like, make that choice. That just irritates me. Like, people are so get worked up about it. Like, is it going to be my thing? No. I'll be up the day after Thanksgiving, dude. Decking them halls.
Oh yeah, we're
And
going out to
Rachel-
get our Christmas tree that weekend.
Yeah, we're going Friday. We're getting the Christmas tree. We'll be decorating. I think we're going to go do Polar Express that weekend.
I'm gonna suffer through the Apple Cup the day after Thanksgiving,
Oh, yeah.
and then the day after that, we're gonna go get our Christmas tree.
We're going to be so dialed in on Christmas that weekend, and Rach and I have already decided, like, we've already gone up in the attic and started pulling all our, I mean, we're going Winter Wonderland, Polar Express, North Pole this year, so I'm excited for it. I am really excited. I love Christmas.
Oh yeah,
I love
absolutely.
I have a hard time because I always tell people my favorite holiday is 4th of July. Because I love the 4th of July. I always have. Growing up on the water, just the atmosphere, it was just, you know. But my favorite holiday season, like no other holiday has a season, right?
Yeah.
Like all the other holidays, it's just a freaking day. You know,
Right.
You have Easter, you have 4th of July, you have Thanksgiving, whatever it is. This is a season.
See, I'm one of the rare people that calls it the Halloween season. For me, it's October 1st to October 31st.
I've never heard that.
I know, and it's something that I do because I just absolutely love that. But you know
Yeah.
what? For me, I think it goes Christmas, it goes October, and it goes 4th of July. And I know that those are all like different things, but for me, that's what it is. Because, and I'm going to roll it into this. We actually have something really cool coming out, I think in 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
I know nothing about it.
Oh, you do. But in 2 weeks, we're gonna share with you guys. It's coming out in 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
But I had to do a little bit of research to get this all dialed in and set up. And I've got to admit that when I started playing some of these Christmas music songs, I just kind of got a little.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun. It's funny because I think I love Christmas. I always have. I used to love going through the mall and hearing the Christmas music, and I always say that like 4th of July is my favorite holiday, but it's really Christmas and 4th of July are just hand in hand. The one thing about those two holidays for me more than anything else is as a parent, and for those of you who have kids,
Laura, good morning.
Seeing wonder in your kids' eyes, Christmas morning, or in a fireworks show when they're staring up at the sky and just like totally into it. It's a different sense of joy or excitement that you get out of those moments, and so and both of those holidays really bring that. So I'm really and in our house, like, I'll give you guys some idea. We go all out on Christmas, on Santa Claus. Like, we're big on Santa Claus, really big on Santa Claus, and in making the Santa Claus real and a reality, and the spirit of the giving, and that magic is a big deal in our house. And so I don't want to give anything away out here, but if you ever needed some cool ideas, give me a shout.
Well, I'm gonna roll off of that and say we got Disney Plus a couple days ago.
Yeah, I got it last night.
So last night, Bella and I were home. Everybody else was doing something else. And Bella says, "Hey, we haven't seen Inside Out in a while. Let's watch that."
Good morning, Laura.
So we throw on Inside Out. Movie came out in 2015, Pixar movie. Freaking bawling like a baby again and watching that movie. If you haven't seen Inside Out and you have kids, you need to see Inside Out. Because if you have seen it and you have kids, you totally understand where I'm coming from. Especially for me, my oldest daughter graduated in 2015, so that's when this movie came out. But there is so much emotion. Crystal, good morning.
Oh, good morning. Good morning.
It's such a good movie. For me, the moments that got me was when when Joy was holding up old memories of the girl when she was a kid.
Yeah.
And she said something like, "Oh my gosh," she's coloring. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, do you remember how she used to stick her tongue out when she colored?" And those moments, when I first watched the movie back in 2015 and watched it last night, it made me think about all those memories that we can't get back. But if we could just taste some of those memories again, without a doubt, we'd be like, "Oh my gosh, yes."
Yeah.
"Oh my gosh, yes, I remember when Jesse did." One of the things for me is Kaylee. Kaylee never crawled. Kaylee sat up and scooted on her butt. So she's always been my butt scooter. And
Bet she loves that name.
the thing is
Thanks, Dad.
it brings me joy, it brings me happiness to see, to think about those memories in there. And so I just wanted to say, Disney Plus, you suck because you got me to cry last night in front of my youngest daughter.
Good morning, Katie.
But it's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, you got kids, you'll totally get it, you'll totally understand. And it reminds me, you brought this up, or you reminded me of this, because you only get so many Christmases.
Yeah.
You only get so many Christmases with them as kids. You only get so many 4th of Julys. You only get so many summers. And then the next thing you know, they're 22 years old and they're up in Bellingham. Or they're 20 years old and they're moving out. And
Yeah.
it's tough because I'm now right in the middle of that.
Yeah.
They have left. I've got these guys that I still got some time left. And then it changes. That whole dynamic changes. Eventually it's going to be grandkids.
Yeah, I'm gonna level with you, dude. There's no part of me that will ever be ready for my kids to leave.
No.
I was actually looking at Maddie the other day, just kind of like spacing out, and she was on the couch, and I was sitting across, just kind of reading or something, and she was talking to a friend on her phone, like texting, and like the change in the last year in her maturity and growth has been insane. She'll be 14 in December. And I just got like all kind of misty, just sitting there looking at her, being like, "No, you can't grow up anymore. You're freaking done." Like,
Yeah.
I'm not, because she said something about, "Well, someday when I have my own place," and I was like, "Nope, not gonna happen. Won't let it. Like, you're staying here."
Well, I'll share with you, when John said that he was going to move out at the beginning of December, my first initial gut reaction is, "No, you're not." But then I'm like, "Oh, he's 20 years old. He's an adult. He's a man." You're not ready for it. And I mean, when we sent Jessie off to college, we were all blubbering babies when we left her dorm room, and even Jessie, who doesn't really show a ton of emotion, even she was crying. And I'm like, the fact that you're crying is making me cry even more. And
I listen to a lot of, I have a very, very...
And I'm sure some of you guys out there know, some of you have little ones, and you're seeing your little one now going off to kindergarten or going off to middle school. I know that you guys are seeing that out there.
I have a very varied musical taste in music, and I listen to, I don't know why. I have certain songs that just remind me of my kids, of my daughters. I like their songs like Kenny Chesney's "There Goes My World," "There Goes My Life."
Who's that for?
I have no idea. Oh, who's it for in my life? It actually started probably as Maddie because I heard it when she was young.
Okay. Okay.
Lainey is Wildflowers by Tom Petty.
Okay.
Leave Among the Wildflowers. They actually both, I listened to Daughter by Loudon Wainwright III. The song Daughter, that's my daughter in the water. They were both swimmers, so whenever I hear that. I Loved Her First by, what's that, Heartland? It's probably Jocelyn, I think about it all the time.
That's Bella's song.
Yeah, that's a good one. In fact, Lainey's even told me already, like when she gets married someday, that her daddy-daughter song is going to be Wildflowers, Tom Petty.
Oh yeah.
And just any of those, like Edwin McCain has one about walking his daughter down the aisle and like holding her hand as he's walking down the aisle, like feeling her hand like being little in his hand, and it's not anymore. Like those kind of things just like rip at my soul.
Well, I'll tell you this, Jesse's song, because we do have songs. Jesse's song is Butterfly Kisses. Kaylee's song is Cinderella by Stephen Curtis Chapman. That song will make you bawl like a baby.
Yeah.
That song, because if you've ever heard it, the way Stephen Curtis Chapman tells stories, he does it in 3 stages. And that song is kind of like Butterfly Kisses. It's like little, older, getting married. And it's just,
Yeah.
I saw her first, or I loved her first.
Yeah.
Totally. I love that song. That's my Bella song. John, and don't judge, because it's a good song, is, oh crap. Crap. I know the band. Arms Wide Open by Creed. It's a song about a father and a son, and I know the story behind that song, which makes it even more powerful.
Yeah.
And then, gosh darn it, I don't know if I have one for Ryan.
Maverick and I, my 3.
Good morning, Ann. Good morning, Kim.
There's a couple that I listen to that kind of hits home with me for him, but Maverick and I are just, it's funny, the different relationship between boys and their dads, and I'm a very like physical, loving father. Like I'm very touchy-feely, and I know that people
Like
are gonna be
Homer
"Oh,
Simpson?
he's a fucking rude."
Like Homer Simpson? Really
Yes,
touchy.
yeah. No, but I'm always like if my daughters are on the couch next to me, I'm like pulling them over, like draping on them.
Yep.
Or like I'll lay my head down on on Maddie's lap or something. We'll watch a movie. Like I'm very like a interactive, like touchy kind of person in an appropriate way.
Yes.
But I'm even like that with my son. And some people are like, dude, what? I've had people like, kiss your son on the lips. And I'm like, 300 times a day. Like I'm very much, but like this morning, I went to walk out of the house and, I took Maddie to school and then I came home. And I came back in and I saw Maverick. He's on the couch and I went and kicked him up and he's squeezing around my neck, he's squeezing, and he's like nuzzling into me. And then I had to leave because I had to take Jocelyn and Lainey and come here. But my 3-year-old, I mean, like he's very just like aware, very like sensitive, aware. And as I'm going to leave, I said, "Bye, buddy." I said, "I love you." And I was walking away. He didn't hear me. And he goes running up to me. He goes, "Dad." And I go, he goes, "I love you so much." And he gives me a big hug, and I'm like, some people think I'm crazy. Like, dude, why you kiss on your son and love on your son so much? I'm like, because I want him to always feel father's love, always feel love from the significant male role model in his life, and I want him to do the same thing for his kids,
Good morning, Ryan.
His daughters, his boys,
Yes.
whatever he has in life or anything, or a wife or whatever. Like, I want him to be like, I'm like that with Rach, and she'd be on here and say, like, don't get me wrong, Rach and I have our battles or whatever, but no matter what we've gone through or how mad we are at each other, once like we climb into bed or whatever, I'm just like, let me have your body like next to me. Like I'm just like that. I don't know how we're getting onto this from music, but I guess I'm getting back to my point of the music, like especially with the girls and stuff, is that like I always want them to have, once the touch is gone, because someday it's going to be gone, right? I'm going to be gone, and I want them to always have things that remind them. I mean, to this day, when Maddie goes to stay the night at a friend's house, when Lainey goes, they will go grab my cologne and spray it on their pillow or something and take it with them.
Wow.
Because they can smell it, and they're like, "That's Daddy." Like
That's
it's
cool.
And so those things are, in my mind, they're important. Whether it's music or whatever it is, like when we're long gone, that stuff they can hold
Tracy,
on
good morning.
to. That stuff they can hold
Well,
on to.
what I always tell my girls is that I'm setting the bar high for your future boyfriend and your future husband.
Yeah.
And I want them to know that. There's expectations, and I want if that future male person in your life needs to know, they need to know what those expectations are.
We actually had you'll love this. So Maddie's got a little boyfriend, right? At school, whatever, a little 8th grade boyfriend that we've had.
I love it. Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, don't get me started.
I don't want to say we've had. They, and I say this, I'm like, they had some. There's Paul.
Good morning, Paul.
They had some not making wise decision kind of choices as far as trying
Teenagers.
to sneak off teenager kind of stuff, and so we had to have like a serious like discussion. And the boyfriend, James, great kid honestly, aside from the fact that he likes my daughter, which I get it, she's awesome, but he's so funny because fathers, you're gonna love this. Him and Maddie were talking over text, forgetting that I see everything, right? She has monitoring on her phone, I see everything. And it was them talking about him having a serious, like, man-to-man conversation with me about Maddie and about, how he's going to treat her nice and blah, blah, blah. And in typical, like, 13-year-old 7th grade fashion, he was like, or 8th grade, he's like, Maddie, what are you going to say to him? And he said, I'm just going to say I know how much that he loves you and all that. I'm like, okay, starting out well. He goes, but then he said this. He said, and it's tough for you because she was your baby girl first and now she's mine. And I was like, stop! So the next morning, we're in the car and we're driving and I go, hey, Maddie. And she goes, what? And I said, when James goes to give me that talk, and she can see her like, ugh. And I go, you might want to warn him that if he ever refers to you as his baby girl, it'll be the last time he ever sees you. Maybe life at all. She was like, okay, Dad. She's like, okay, Dad, I don't want to talk about it. The talk hasn't come. He's checked out on the talk. But
he's like, I gotta go back, I gotta revise this. Oh man.
It's funny. There was a side of me that was kind of like, it was endearing. He was trying, right, in his own way, and I have to remind myself with James, and this is something that I really keep an eye on, is that James his father was not involved in his life. He's been raised by his grandma, who's an amazing woman, strong woman, and so it's important for me to set a precedent with James. This is how my daughter's treated.
Yep.
Like, you can come over to our house and hang out. You can come over and see how we do things or whatever, so that you can see the expectations I set. Because maybe you haven't seen that, and that doesn't mean that you're not redeemable and that you're not a good kid and you wouldn't take great care of my kid. But in the long run, we're going to make sure. We're just going to make sure you see how things are done.
Yep. And you bring up a good point. Kaylee's got a boyfriend right now, and
we don't like him.
Don't listen to him.
Sorry, you said off air.
I met with him on Tuesday, and when we got done meeting, I made it a point to reach out to his parents and let his parents know that we had a really good meeting, and that you should be proud. I told his parents, I said, I'm proud of the fact he had the courage to come talk to me.
Yeah.
And I said, you got a good kid here. I think we got some good kids here. Let's make sure that we're still involved with everything. And they said, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
What's funny about that is, I don't take you, Paul, as like a Christmas music guy.
Early November, I slept between Christmas music and the Seahawks game on Monday, except during overtime.
As gruff as his exterior is, though, Paul's got a soft heart. So, yeah. Anyway, carry on.
But I think that's important too.
Yeah, not during OT.
Because I know that you have a good friendship with the grandma. I think it's good. I think it's healthy. Nick, good to see you, Nick. I think it's healthy to also talk to the other kids' parents.
Yeah, we've had a lot of discussions, especially after their little hiccup with kind of sneaking away about where they're allowed to be, what they're allowed to do, that kind of stuff. Because it's like the discussion you had with your daughter and her boyfriend about, when they do get their license or whatever the case is, or Kaylee has hers, I guess, I don't know, what they're allowed to do. you got to set that precedent, right? And just kind of put the expectations down, and which is, it's a tough thing. I had that discussion with you yesterday because I was like seriously asking you, and I was looking back, and I don't want you to think that I was like attacking your guys' point on the whole thing if they're not allowed to be in the same car together. But I was like, and I wondered too if you guys even thought that far down the road. I was like, well, what are you going to do when he wants to take her to senior prom? You know what I'm saying, or junior prom, or whatever the case is. Like, how long does that rule carry on before you're like, this isn't fair anymore? They have to. I think there's this weird line of like protecting your child and allowing them to make decisions and hoping, above all hope, that you've given them the tools to make good decisions.
Yeah.
Because if we don't, in my mind, like I'm thinking, like if we don't start that transition at some point in their youth, then they're going to become. I was in the Marine Corps, and I saw 18, 19-year-old kids all the time who didn't know how to tie their shoes, right? Because their parents were so guarded of them, and all of a sudden they're out in the world making dumb decisions because they just don't have any ability to like make judgment calls. How do you do that? When do you do it? It's so, how do you? And it's especially, I think, as fathers, like I don't even want to say that. As parents in general, mothers are protected too. Where, God, it's hard, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's hard. Like. We had, because of Maddie and James's incident in the summer of kind of sneaking off or whatever, I had told her, if you think you're going to any dances this year, you're out your damn mind. Like, at the school. Well, of course the dance came up last week, and I had to really sit down and be like, and she knew. I knew that the dance was coming because I get all the emails, right? And I knew like the question was coming, like, and there were a couple times in the car she's like, hey Dad, and I'm like, oh, here it comes, and then she would like lose a nerve, she's like, and so then check this out, her mom texts me a couple nights before the dance and goes, hey, what would you think about Maddie going to her dance? She's talking to me about it. And I said, well, she hadn't talked to me about it, so unless she talks to me about it, then I don't know anything about it, right? And so we're sitting in the car the day before the dance, and I said, so Maddie, there's a dance, or no, it's 2 days before. So there's a dance thing with it, right? And she goes, yeah. And I said, all right, well, I take it you don't want to go. I haven't heard anything about it. So, and like I just dropped it and I waited. 9 games. Yeah. Morning, Antonio. And so, of course, she brought it up. And I ended up walking back a little bit on me saying, because I was like, you know what? You've done really well. You heeded everything we've said. You haven't pushed back really that much. You have a little bit, but it's to be expected. And so,
Antonio, good morning.
You earned the right to go, the ability to go, and she did, and she handled herself well, and so I'm glad. But that's like that whole thing is it's like there's the side of me that's like, nope, sorry, you're locked away in a cave until you're 18, but that doesn't do her any good.
No,
you know what I mean? Like.
No. And it's funny you bring that up because we've noticed that with Kaylee. I had all these rules that were in place that said this is what's going to happen when you get your license. This, and this.
I think we start to realize that like our idea of protecting you becomes not only unrealistic, but also not rational.
Yeah, and this is why it's good to have a partner in crime because Christy would make things obvious to me. And at one point she said, do you really want to drive Kaylee all over for these events? Or would you like her to just do it? And I went,
yeah.
Fine, yes, yes, dang it.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. I just thought about putting her in a cave and locking her up until she's 18.
And just as important is the partner of like her boyfriend's, right?
Yeah.
Parents or whatever, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, to be on the same page with them. I think it's smart that you called them.
I'll share this with you guys because we only have 4 people watching. When I had that conversation on Tuesday.
400, you meant 400.
When I had that conversation, I brought that up. I thought, what do I got to lose? And I said, we have certain expectations, and we've raised our daughter a certain way, and we expect those expectations to be met. No inappropriateness. And then I said, I'm kind of joking here.
What's inappropriate, though?
I'm kind of joking, but I'm kind of serious when I tell you this next. And he's like, he just has this look on his face, and I said, basically, whatever you do to my daughter, I'm going to do to you. And he just went,
I'm not afraid to go back to prison. Funny is when Maddie and James had their little sneak off incident, whatever, and Irene and I powwowed, we then talked to James, right? And we then talked to him and we talked to James together. Like, she asked me to be a part of it because I'm the guy. Like, she's like, he doesn't have that. And it's funny because I started off like pretty nice, and then it went by the wayside because I got worked up, and I was like, look, dude, I don't know how plainly to put this to you. If you put your hands on my daughter, okay, outside of giving her a hug or holding her hand or something like that, in any appropriate fashion, I'm like, there's going to be problems, okay? And I'm like, at any point I'm waiting for Irene to like grab me and be like, don't abuse my kid or whatever. And she, all of a sudden Irene jumps in and she goes, I'll cut off your goddamn hands. Like to James, she's like, you don't touch Maddie. I'll cut off your goddamn hands.
Right there. Clear communication is a life
Yeah.
hack.
And I looked at Irene and I'm like, yeah, she'll cut off your hands. And poor James is like, I like think he literally believed it. He was like she cut this finger off one time. We had to sew it back on. Like, you know what? But I was like, oh, Irene, I'm so glad you're on my side. Like, and she's done it before. She's so funny because we took them to like, they showed up, or we were all standing outside one time, and they were talking about whether they were going to go to skating or not that Friday. And I said, yeah, I'm not sure, whatever. And then all of a sudden Irene goes, if you do, and she looks at James, she goes, you keep your hands in your pockets, young man. And I was like, love this woman.
Can I just say that is totally Northwest right there?
Oh,
So we
yeah.
got a guy wearing a hoodie and a flannel with shorts, socks, and slides.
Dude, check this. I don't know if you can see that over there. Hoodie, flannel, socks, slides, and shorts.
That's so Northwest.
I can't even. Yeah.
All right, well,
Yeah,
I
so
think it's
anyway.
time to...
No, I think you're right. Yeah, clear communication, life hack. Paul's got Atticus is, he doesn't got to worry about that yet, and then he'll have Catch Your Owner coming up, so he'll have to deal with it. I think you're dealing with. It's kind of funny because you're dealing with things with Kaylee that you never had to deal with Jesse and John.
Right.
Different kids, right?
Yep.
Different strokes for different folks.
Oh, and Kaylee she's got her dad's personality too, so it's kind of a dangerous thing.
It's unfortunate.
I mean, she's better. She's better than me, but
that's all we can hope, that our kids are better versions of us, right?
When it comes to being social, she's like her dad.
Little butterfly.
Yeah. Whereas Jesse was like, you know what? This is my core group of friends. This is good. John is a lot like his grandfather. Because my dad shared the stories of him in high school. John's a lot like my dad, where he's just like, I just got through school, just got my grade, just got my diploma, because that's all I really cared about.
Yeah.
I didn't care about doing this or doing that or pep assemblies or anything like that. Just get me in, get me out.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, you know what? I think it's about that time.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all hanging out. We
Yep.
talked about shootings and carrying guns. I wish Paul was on for the gun carrying
that
thing,
would've been good.
because I know he
Paul,
has an
go back and
opinion.
leave some comments.
I know he has an opinion on teachers and guns, holding guns. Here's something no one thinks about though. Everyone's like, "Oh, teachers shouldn't have guns." Should the conversation at least be started? Chew on this. Maybe we'll talk about it next week. With the security guards. You know what I'm saying? Like some of these security guards are trained. Like I look at like Dan Spice. Respected, a member of the community, like kids' best interests at heart. I look at Mr. Pitts over at Cal's. You guys retired military, for God's sakes. You know what I'm saying? Would it help?
Is he listening to Christmas music?
Yeah. We have that conversation about, hey, some of these security guards, maybe they're armed. I don't know. Anyway, all right. Hey, we talked about a lot today. Appreciate you guys jumping in, joining with us, chiming in. You know what? I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a little disappointed. Wasn't a lot of audience participation this week.
No.
We just kind of rambled.
Yeah.
You guys need to up your game.
We're giving you some tough love right now.
Yeah, we're gonna give you some
We talked about tough love earlier. Here it comes.
I want you to think about your lack of action this week and come back next Thursday with a plan to improve yourself. Okay? You know what? As a matter of fact, type it up, message it over to us on Facebook, to Home Homes Northwest, or email it to us at info@tohomehomesnw.com. We'll review. We'll get back with you. And I like the idea of retired military, retired police officers armed and playing grab at the same time in school. Yeah, that's the thing, man. Like Mr. Pitts at Callis, those kids freaking love that guy. I mean, and he is a great dude. And they honor him at Veterans Day and all that kind of stuff. Like, have him be concealed. And he loves those kids. He protects those kids like they're his own. Like, it's something to talk about. I like your head's in, Antonio. Yeah. You and me, buddy.
Everybody else, I expect sentences.
Yeah.
I want sentences. 50 sentences. I will participate next week.
Improve yourself.
Yep. I want it written out too, not typed.
Yeah.
C-Dub, good to see you, man.
It's like, I felt like a pastor in a Baptist church that with a Baptist church that all had like laryngitis and couldn't talk. I'm used to you guys being like, hallelujah, and no one said anything. All right, get it together.
Anything going on this weekend, this week?
Hey, real quick shout out to my 5th grade girls Panthers basketball team. Qualified for state this last weekend. Those little girls played their hearts out. I was so proud of them. And you want to talk about an example of tough love. In their semifinal game, in their 3rd game, they lost. They got ran out of the gym by a team they shouldn't have got ran out. And it was an effort thing. And I came out and I said, well, we're about to find out if the parents like me or not. And I lit into those girls. In love, and told them I had higher expectations than them. They came back in the 4th game that they needed to win to get their state berth, and they absolutely crushed it. And I had parents texting me and emailing me saying, thank you for giving them what they needed to hear.
Yeah.
And so those are some parents that get it. Joey Eisenbarger, there you are, my friend.
Joe.
Good to see you, bud. So shout out to them. Congratulations, girls. Your parents and myself are all so proud of you. It's going to be awesome in Spokane in March, competing against the best teams in the state. What do we have going on this weekend, man? Now I can't even say that.
You ain't my boss. Homework is probably turned into the trash can. You will deposit that into the circular file,
He's
Mr.
already
Carlson.
stepping up his game. What do we have? We don't have any new listings
So
this
what is
week.
today? Today's the 14th. So next week's the 21st. So we're 2 weeks away. Today we are 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
2 weeks away from Thanksgiving. I can't think of anything. This is kind of like the lull between.
Kind of slows down right before Thanksgiving into Christmas. Although we do have a listing coming up that we're gonna have to get out there. A few buyers that we're working with right now, trying to get them in. Another possible listing coming up right in the middle of the holidays.
And and I'll share this with you guys. Here's the little bit of sprinkling real estate in. I actually just pulled up some stats on Monday, and for October, Pierce County, we still are at like 1.1 months of inventory.
So there's an article in Como. Let's post it to our page later today. And talking about the lack of inventory and the market coming up. And I'll give him a plug. Dick Beeson out of Windermere Gig Harbor, I believe. Is that a Gig Harbor, Windermere? He's a designated broker out there. Dick's been in the game for a long time, and they interviewed him for the piece. And whereas a lot of people are talking about a market correction in the next 1 to 2 years, Dick doesn't see it. He thinks we're going to, with the jobs in the area and the people moving there, we're going to continue basically at the same pace we are for the foreseeable future. Low inventory, prices continuing to moderately climb, not as high as they were a couple years ago,
right?
And having buyer frustration.
Yeah.
And so I would say it's good news for all of our seller friends out there. And I'll say the same thing to buyers that I always say: it's never a bad time to buy.
No, and maybe explain to people, because some people don't understand, what is 1 month of inventory, 1.1 month of inventory mean?
Means if we stopped listing homes today, we'd run out in 1.1 months. Essentially, we'd run out like 5 weeks.
And what is normal?
It's like 4 to 6 months.
Yeah, 4 to 6 months. So think about it, you guys. If no more houses go on the market, we'll run out in a month. That's still a seller's market. We need inventory.
Yo, quick question: is selling homes during late November/December, the holidays, more difficult than the rest of the year? It can be a little bit more, but right now, with like what we're just talking about, with there being a shortage, I don't see it as much as in past years, because buyers are still out there looking for that home.
I'll tell you this, Paul. I've reached out to a couple of agents, because I've got some newer agents working underneath me that need open houses to hold open. And
so if you want us to list your home, Paul, we can actually have some good opens.
The thing is that the houses that go on the market, they're already getting under contract. So even my people are having a hard time finding open houses to hold. So, like he said, you would have less competition, and you still would have a good amount of buyers that are looking at it.
I always tell people it's a good time, but I like, if I'm completely 100% honest, if I was listing my own house right around now, I'd probably do it right after Christmas.
Yeah.
For this reason, I just want to get through the holidays, and then drop it on the market on like January 2nd.
Yep.
Let it go, because right in this, you get a lot of people that, even buyers are like, you know what, let's just call it off for December and hit it hard again.
We've seen that. We've already seen that.
Yeah, but I tell you what, this is the busiest fall into winter we've had.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we've been really busy, so, knock on wood, blessings, thank you all for that. So, all right.
I think that's it, man. I mean, nothing else going on. It's the calm before the storm.
Peace out. Word to your mom.
we will see you guys next week. Somebody's trying to call. Oh, my wife's trying to call. So let's finish it up.
Okay.
See you guys.
See you.